here.
Welcome back.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of UNHEARD. Today we have a special guest. Ava is here today. And our topic for today, as you can see, it's all the Black woman today. So today we are discussing the relationship between Black women and Black men and just the roles in general. So let's get started.
Okay, so first question, y'all. Do y'all think... I just unmute myself and my dog wants to bark. So do y'all think that Black men ride for Black women the same way that we ride for them, basically?
Negatory.
Start it off.
No.
No. No.
I don't know about that one.
Yes, you do. It's a no.
Let me not generalize.
I was about to say, I think there's only a few different representations of Black women that I've seen, and I can name 3. The sex symbol, the mammy stereotype, where she's a caregiver, and then also the strong, courageous Black woman who's a superhero and fights for everybody. Those are the only ways I see Black women depicted. We have to be some kind of superhuman Wonder Woman to get recognized.
Mm-hmm.
Well, coming from, so I'm related to one of the Aunt Jemimas. Anna Short Harrington is my cousin on one of my dad's side of the family. So I can understand the reason a lot of my other family members want to keep it, because it is her legacy, and it's I get to tell people, hey, that's my cousin, and it's a pretty cool thing to be recognized all over the store. But at the same time, Black people have to start thinking more for how we're representing the whole community. And I hate to say it because we shouldn't feel like we have to, but it's a reality that when one of us is representing, we have to represent the whole community. So as much as we would love to have her legacy continue, we have to think about what that means for Black people as a whole and the negative stereotypes it's pushing. Because they're positive stereotypes, but they're contributing to an unrealistic expectation of Black women, and that's
We were talking. That's a good point.
So tying it back to what y'all said earlier, do you feel the reason why they don't ride for us is because the influence on the music and stuff like that?
I think that's part of it. I think another part of it is how we were saying, it's a good stereotype, but it's not necessarily man, you worded it perfectly, Amanda, but what you just said, it's a good stereotype, but it's not representative of all of us. I think it also gives Black men the notion that we don't need them, so they don't feel like they have to ride for us. Mm-hmm. But then again, we ride for them regardless of if they give the notion that they need it or not. So I'm kind of lost in translation. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. My grandmother, we had this conversation probably maybe a couple days ago about the relationship between actually it's yesterday, between the Black man and the Black woman, and she was saying how to the Black men, especially during her day and age, having a white woman was considered a trophy, almost you know how with cars, you want a flashy car, luxury car, you want luxury shoes, all that kind of stuff. It's the same with your woman. To have a white woman, you look different. You look, it was flashy in a sense. And so, that became a prominent thing within our community, which, over in time overshadowed us completely. And so then we got no recognition at all because we were seen as not as valuable as a white woman. So therefore things would be much different.
I was talking to my dad earlier, and he was because we're still in that same mindset of the lighter skin is better and all that kind of stuff.
Colorism. Mm-hmm.
I don't see how we could get out of that. That's another talk for another episode.
For me, it's just we have always wanted to be seen as like somebody who belongs in the country. And so that goes back to like assimilating to American culture, whether it be straight hair or how you dress or how you talk or yada, yada, yada. Or also like what you were saying with the trophy wives. And if an individual has the opportunity to rise up on the social scale, it's all about Maslow's hierarchy of needs to survive. But then to be in a place in society that you know you will be taken care of, you know you will have the least amount of stress or danger, you'll be in less danger than if you were on a lower scale. And the way that they did that, the way that they realized that they could rise on that social scale was to assimilate, was to get as close to being white in America as they could. And that's with having a white woman as a wife, as a girlfriend, you know. I like how you put it as a trophy wife, because sadly they really are. It's just used. It's common for Black men to use white women or view white women as these pristine and perfect women that you want to strive to marry instead of, you know, the dirty Black woman. And that's also that stereotype is also portrayed in media. You know, light means good and heaven and angelic, while Black means sin, evil, blah blah blah.
Yeah. And I didn't even like that whole like the color representation. I didn't even put that together until recently, which is crazy. It was that when we went to the African American Museum, that was like the first time I had ever made that correlation, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, the first time I had it, I think I had watched the Malcolm X movie, and they were reading it in the dictionary, and I was just like, huh?
But yeah, back to the question at hand. Yeah, we definitely ride harder than our counterparts do for us, which is unfortunate. Black women in general are just ride or die type of people. Like at our core, like we just care so much, you know?
I agree.
Definitely.
Even when we seem like we don't.
I know.
What'd you say, Ava?
It's because we've been through so much. Our ancestors have been through so much. We have these strong connections with other people because we know the value of other people's lives because we've seen parts of ourselves being ripped away. You know, you think of all the families being separated, Black women being used as just like for creating babies, and that was it, and having their children ripped away. You know, you have these 30-year-old Black girls who were impregnated by the plantation owner just so that they could continue on with having slaves. You know, it's just looking at what we've been through in the past and how we've been treated, because we've always been treated as lower. We've always been treated as second. You know, Black men come first, and then there's Black women. You see, it's the same thing with voting. You know, Black men can vote, white women can vote, Black women can vote. You know?
Look, I don't want to say this about all Black men. You know, we did just kind of dog them a little bit.
Like how you said, we can do better by ourselves. Like we can, but you know, a little help won't hurt.
Right. I don't know about anybody else, but I still want that door open for me. I still want that chair pulled out for me. I don't care who.
We have to realize that Black men still need to protect us. Black men and Black women need to realize that. We have to be willing to accept their help, and they have to be willing to give it.
Yep. We wanted to discuss the oversexualization of Black girls. Okay, so to start it off, I made a post, and I know not everybody's in my private, I just realized that, but I made a post, and it's basically about the adultification of Black girls. So I'll just read like a couple bits of it just to get us started. So in 2017, a study from Georgetown found that adults viewed Black girls as less innocent and more adult-like than white girls of the same age, especially between ages 5 and 14 years old. When compared with white girls, Black girls were perceived as needing less nurturing, protection, support, and comfort, being more independent, knowing more about adult topics, including sex. So this identification leads to rape culture, victim blaming, sexualization, and human trafficking of young Black girls. Every Black girl I know has at one point in their childhood been told by an adult to not be too fast or dress grown. So, I don't know about y'all, but I've definitely been told, like, don't wear those, there's men in the house, that kind of stuff.
My grandmother used to not let me wear shorts as my pajamas because for some reason, the problem wasn't that when I woke up in the morning that there were going to be strange men in the house. The problem was that I was wearing shorts. Because I remember hating over and sleeping at her house because whenever I would wake up, there would be people in the living room. So I walk out of the bedroom to go to the bathroom, and right in front of me are people in the living room. So because of this, she would say I could only wear certain things to sleep, and I wasn't allowed to wear shorts in the house. And I feel like that's a problem. Instead of telling men to stop their wandering eyes, we tell girls to cover up.
That's the whole thing I was saying last week about why are we so focused on reforming the oppressed when we should be reforming the oppressors. But you know.
Yeah, I need to actually get guys acclimated to seeing more skin on women because they're going to see that in the real world. When they leave high school, when they go to college, they're going to see skin on women, and I need for them to not be tempted just because they never saw it growing up because of the dress codes. I'm not allowed to show my shoulders. Meanwhile, this kid is never going to see shoulders in his life. He's going to see shoulders and he's going to go crazy.
Right.
And it's like
kind of like
weird over kneecaps.
Right. It's just kind of like, I think it kind of turns into like sexism kind of issue if we keep going into like dress code and stuff. Mm-hmm. But to keep it in the realm of Black girls, like, yeah, we've all heard don't be too fast, don't dress grown. I've even heard it from like Black teachers trying to look out for me, and like I get it, but at the same time I don't feel like it's right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think like when I hear that, I don't like from my family members, I don't get necessarily offended because I know the intentions behind what they're trying to say, and I mean, there's a difference between being called fast because you're really trying to be fast, and then being called fast or looking out for you. Don't dress too fast because they don't want boys to look at you or whatever like that. Now that is where I see a problem, where you're telling somebody not to wear something because you don't want a man to look at you. Right. But that's the issue. Now when a girl is really just trying to do too much because she's too young, that's different. They don't view us as young females. They view us as adults by the time we're 10 maybe, and that's an issue. That's the issue at hand in terms of race. In terms of sexism, that's another story.
I feel like it's also because we develop quicker than a lot of other girls, and we have Black people have I don't know, different genetics, I guess, when it comes
they have very distinct features. Yeah, I agree with literally everything y'all are saying. There's so many good points that are brought up, and there's just it's deeply rooted not only in our culture but in American culture. Like I remember doing studies on this on just ads in the 1900s of you have this little, I remember this one ad, this little Black girl in I don't know, fishnets, all black, and it was it was supposed to be a little Black girl, a little baby, but she was in a lingerie kind of dress up. She had devil horns, and then you had side by side with a white girl who had this more angelic outfit. And I don't even know what the ad was for, but it was there. And if that ad was there, then there must be a whole other, just so many others like that, and that just keeps continuing on and on and on. And it's a snowball effect. It just gets worse and worse because you pile on more and more stereotypes. And even now you have the hot Cheeto girl stereotype. It's and I hate that because based on what we wear or how we act, we're labeled as, we're put into a little group that's meant to just dehumanize us and make us more of a caricature. instead of a real human being. And I think that's why it's been so easy to sexualize African American women, Black little girls. It's been so easy to sexualize us because we've been dehumanized. We're not even viewed as human beings anymore. We're always viewed as something that'll help other people have a better life, whether it be in the home, whether it be in the bedroom, all of that. And it's just, yeah.
Wow. That's a good point.
I have like a question, I guess, to propose. I don't want to make it seem like it's Black women's job to like take away, like get rid of all these stereotypes, so like fix everything. And I do think that like Black men definitely have a large part in like contributing to this, but there is some things Black women can do to help fix this. I don't want to put the blame on the victim, but there are things we can do, such as teaching our daughters differently than how we were raised. A lot of the problems in the Black community, I feel like, come from how we're raised. I feel like a lot of the things that, were put on us by the oppressor have been reused in raising Black children, such as beating us with the belt. Why are you beating your child with a belt, but don't agree with a master whipping a slave? Why are you using their techniques and their tactics to raise your children?
Yeah, I've used this before. I've said this in an
how she ate that.
I've said this in an argument before. 100%. It's like, it's kind of hypocritical in a way, because it's like what you just said, like you worded it so perfectly. But it's like,
my bad.
But go ahead.
You failed to realize that. Well, not you, but like we failed to realize that we were taught this stuff from the jump.
That's like, the thing. Yeah.
We can't. Yeah, what else do we know? You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Our generation has to change this. We have to stop telling our little girls, stop acting grown, stop dressing grown. We have to stop monitoring what our little girls wear. We have to start sticking up for them when they get called out for being dress coded, instead of siding with the teacher in those situations. We have to teach children. We have to make sure our children can stay children for as long as possible.
Yeah. And then to expand off of what you said, Cece, about how like that's the way we're disciplined, because that's all like our ancestors ever knew, and like it's carried down. And then even like now our parents will look at like the parents of like non-Black people and be like, see, they don't whoop them, and like justify it.
That's what I was saying earlier, how we were always taught to like not always taught, but like even for example, like the lighter skins were in the house and the darker skins were outside. Like we've been programmed to think this way. Like it's up to us to get out of it, or keep doing what they want us to do.
And the mother, like I have to trust God, rely on Him, and two, I need to trust myself, because I can't only rely on what people have done in the past, because things need to change. We need to learn from our mistakes, and that's how we don't repeat history. And with all of the disciplinary actions, with all the ways that little girls are being taught to, like they're not supposed to explore their sexuality or be comfortable with their body and their sexuality, but guys can use you as a sexual object any day at any time, and it's okay, and it's your fault if you get upset about it. There's a lot of hypocrisy. I agree with what you were saying. There's a lot of hypocrisy.
I'm not about to change how I am because they fit a stereotype that people have about me. Like if I be ghetto sometimes, oh well, that's just how it is. You're gonna have to deal with it. That still does not, deny the fact that I'm smart, that I have feelings, that I do things that humans do, regardless of what you have, what your pre-notations are about my racism or not.
I think that.
I would hate to like have us like lose another culture, like we finally found another culture to replace the one that was stolen from us. But soul food is very damaging to our community, and we have to remember where it comes from. Why are we holding on to the scraps that white people gave us, that the oppressor gave us? Why are we holding on to it so dearly, especially when it's causing us to have so many health problems down the line? I feel like the oppressed has now started oppressing itself at this point.
Soul food to me is not necessarily holding on to the scraps that white people gave us. I think it blossomed into something that we created and reclaimed as our own. Mm-hmm. So, and I do also agree with you in the sense that you're saying that, you know, it can be damaging to our community health-wise, because, you know, we do have a lot of, you know, we are known for hypertension and, you know, things of that nature. But I think there can be a compromise. Instead of, you know, losing it altogether, it's, you know, you have it certain days of the year. Like, with my family, we don't eat soul food every day. That is a you know, a holiday thing only. Like, you know, maybe my grandmother's birthday, or like, you know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, possibly.
That's Sunday dinner in my house.
I was gonna say, like, another compromise would just be like the way we make it. Like, I mean,
ain't nobody grilling chicken, Desiree.
No, I mean, like, maybe instead of like, or I don't even know, instead of like canola oil, use olive oil or coconut oil because it's healthier. Stuff like that. Just like little things to switch out. Like, you won't even notice it unless somebody tells you, you know, this was made with coconut oil. It wasn't made with no canola oil. You know what I'm saying? Like,
another thing that I was gonna say about like raising Black children, we have to stop raising Black girls to be caretakers and caregivers and to take care of everyone.
But I don't really think it's wrong to, like, you know, instill that like caretaking instinct, because I think it's a good trait to be able to care for people, and I think it's amazing that Black girls have that trait. It's just the way that we get it at such a young age. Like, I know me personally, I was babysitting my brother at home when I was 6 and he was 1, stuff like that. And it's like, I can't even really be upset about it because my mom was doing what she had to do. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like this double-edged sword where it's like, it's a good thing, but it's also like kind of sad that we lose our childhood so early.
Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing and we need to take it away completely. I just like feel like it's contributing to like that stereotype. Not the fact that we're being taught to be caretakers, but the fact that we feel like that's our only role. Like, that we have to be a caretaker no matter what. Even if we go out, like, say your parents taught you, yeah, you can be anything you want, but you still always have to be a caretaker as a Black woman. Whether you want to or not, you always find yourself forced into that role, if that makes sense.
I think that's maybe just a women thing in general, actually. Like, as a woman, you're supposed to, you know, care for the family. You're supposed to, you know, cook and clean and do everything, you know, whatever.
I think where it's a little bit different and race plays more into it, it's like, yeah, you know, women traditionally have the gender role of being the family caretaker and cooking, but I think where race comes in is more like Black women are expected to sacrifice more than like women of other races. Like, that's a key difference. Like, whenever a Black woman wants to do something, she has to sacrifice her dreams and her goals to then take care of the family. Whereas with other races, it's like, yeah, the woman has the caretaker role, but like the men or whoever else kind of compromise around them and still let them, you know, do what they
right. It's like we don't get anything in return.
And it ties back to the whole like we ride for a Black man more than
but you don't ride.
I think where it feels like Black women aren't anything other than their attachment to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Whenever we say, oh, you should care for Black women, you should respect Black women, they always follow it up with, it could be your sister, it could be your mother, it could be your grandmother, it could be your aunt. Why can't she be respected as just a Black woman and nothing else? Why does her worth have to be attached to what she can give somebody, she can give you, how good of a caretaker she is? Why is her worth attached to all those things?
Period.
I'm trying to find the answer, like.
Right.
Look, I would just dump this hand. I'm just trying to play it.
Exactly. Right. It's just like we got what we got.
Now y'all are putting me at a crossroad with myself.
Right.